وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام.
Almighty Allah accept our prayer and accept all our acts of ibadah. In the past few days, some members of the congregation personally approached me, particularly from among our colleagues, the PSLC participant of PSLC program. The main concern being raised is around two issues that actually affect a very important act of ibadah, that is salat. One, because of the timing, we have been saying this, and we hope one day we will get a solution to that, or the NIPS will get a solution to that. We are already on our way out, inshallah. That is, the timetable should be friendly to all, irrespective of religion. The timetable as it is today, we all know, has little or no concern for the timing of salat for Muslims. It's not only peculiar to you, I'm telling you this. It's also affecting us even as sect participants. But we just have to move on. We must find solutions to our peculiar cases until we have a general solution to it, which we hope in near future, the management and Muslim community of NIPS will take that into account, that we must create that conducive and friendly environment that will allow people, despite being on course, to also practice their religion as guaranteed by the law of the land, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Having said this, now they have two concerns. Are we allowed to combine, especially Dhur and Asr? Because according to them, they have a class that will last to 5:30. Another one is that, can they even shorten the number of the unit of prayer that they observe? Meaning that, can they continuously and continually until the end of the program pray two for Dhur and pray two for Asr, while also combining the two salats? So these are the two major concerns raised by a lot of them. Now, let's try to separate between the two issues. They are not always together. Combining two salat and shortening the number of rakat, they can only coexist in one particular circumstance, and that is when you are a traveler. Please, let's note that as a principle. The only way the two can coexist, you enjoy the two together, is only when you are on a journey. If you are not a traveler, the first one is not for you. That is, or the first or second, as the case may be. What I mean is, shortening the number of rakah is not for you, for whatever reason, for whatever excuse. If you are not a traveler, please, you must pray your salat completely. But the case of combining is a little bit different. There are more than one reason that can entitle you into combining salah. And this is what we benefited from that important hadith of our leader, one of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhuma, who narrated that I witnessed it right inside Medina. The Prophet ﷺ was not on a journey and yet combined between Dhuhr and Asr and between Maghrib and Isha. The only erroneous interpretation of that, and I've addressed that here, is to add to it that he combined without no reason. That is untrue. That is an erroneous interpretation. The hadith did not say that. All what is in that hadith is that for the known reasons, we couldn't see any. And he mentioned the known reasons. He said, "Min ghayri khawfin wala matar." There was no rain, and they were not in a war, and he was not on a journey. So these are the known reasons. And they already knew that. But he said on that day, none of these reasons was available. None of the reasons known to us was available, yet he combined. Then Ibn Abbas was asked, then why did he combine? And he responded by saying, "Arada alla yuhrija ummatahu," because he did not want to put his ummah, we, the followers, he did not want to put us into hardship and difficulty. Meaning that when cases like that arise, he doesn't want to put us in such a situation that we say, no matter the circumstance, we must pray at the time. There could be excuses. That is the meaning. Now, what are those excuses? They are not static. They change by time, by generation, by development. In those days, there were reasons. In our days today, there are new and new reasons, which scholars have deliberated upon. For example, one glaring example that contemporary scholars would cite is the issue of who is to save a life. A medical doctor, for example, will enter the theater for operation. The operation will last for hours, sometimes 10, sometimes more. They said that's a very good excuse for such a medical practitioner to combine. Even though that was not available in the time of the Prophet. That's what I said. These circumstances even do change. Now, today, a case like what is being raised, you have a timetable, the organization, the arrangement of which is beyond your control. And you want to enjoin the course that is permissible for you as a Muslim. Can you take that as an excuse? You have an exam, those are the examples being cited today by scholars. You have a timetable, WAEC exam, JAMB exam, or whatever exam, promotional exam, that they will never shift because of you. Although I'm repeating it, it is not the best practice. The best practice all over the world is that they create a conducive and friendly environment for followers of all religions. They will ask them. And we shouldn't deceive ourselves. I know for a fact, JAMB is a general exam in Nigeria. I know of certain groups of people in Nigeria who JAMB will shift exam because they don't work on Saturdays. I think they call the seventh day Adventist. Yes. They are fighting for this and they want that we don't do even exam we can't do. So this is what we are saying. We should also ask peacefully for what belongs to us as right. But until we arrive at that, we should continue to find solutions. And this is what I'm here to address. Please, in your own cases, ulama scholars have said this could be a good excuse. A timetable that you don't have any control over it. But they usually had a caveat. What is that caveat? It should not become a regular thing. That every day you have an excuse to say, oh, Jama, come, let's combine Dhur and Asr. Every day you are on course for 1 month. For the whole month, you continue to combine. Scholars say that is unacceptable. Because it's an exceptional case. It's not the normal circumstance. And when it becomes normal, it's no more an exceptional case. So, and that is not allowed. We must maintain the timing of every salah. But if, any chance, a day in a week, 2 days in a week, you have that very serious and genuine excuse to say, oh, today I can't make it. I've looked at all other alternatives. It's impossible. So let's do it today. It's acceptable. What are those other alternatives? We should, when we will be questioned on the day of resurrection about our practices of religion, nobody will be there to defend us. And Allah knows if you have other alternatives that you didn't explore. For example, what stops you? Nobody will stop you to come out quickly and go back to your class. Nobody stops you. But sometimes you may find that difficult. That is what we are saying, and must not be on a regular basis. Please, let us take our religion as serious as that. In my place of work, I always tell people, no matter the meeting we are in, nobody will query you for going out for whatever reason. You want to use toilet. But some people want to talk to their families, and they don't want those in the meeting to hear the conversation. They will just say, look, do like this to the chairman and go out. If you are doing that for all these worldly needs, why wouldn't you go out for salat? Nobody will query you for that, even by law. So please, let us try to explore all the alternatives. But Islam, that is the beauty of Islam. Allah, the Prophet ﷺ, never want to put us into difficult situations that we say, oh, there is no excuse. No, there are excuses. But please don't take these excuses to become the normal practice. That is only the caveat that scholars will always add. That is about combining two salah. Now, the issue of shortening number of rakah, as I said earlier on, this can only be done for a traveler. Never, no, whatever excuse, exam, no exam, medical doctor, whatever excuse, you shouldn't reduce the number of rakah unless you are on it, because that is what is in Al-Quran al-Kareem. Allah says in Al-Quran al-Kareem, وَإِذَا ضَرَبْتُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ فَلَيْسَ عَلَيْكُمْ جُنَاحٌ أَن تَقْصُرُوا مِنَ الصَّلَاةِ إِنْ خِفْتُمْ أَن يَفْتِنَكُمُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا إِنَّ الْكَافِرِينَ كَانُوا لَكُمْ عَدُوًّا مُبِينًا. So the ayah starts by saying, وَإِذَا ضَرَبْتُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ. That's another way of expressing journey or traveling in Arabic language. So it's restricted to that. The question that now arises is that who is a traveler? Because that is the only determinant factor. If you are a traveler, you can shorten. You are not, you cannot shorten your salah. So that is basic. And this is the reason why you may hear different interpretations and different views. Some scholars will say, oh, you have traveled for 80-something kilometers. You are a traveler. Some will use the number of days. Oh, you are on a journey for 4 days, for more. You are a traveler. And some other parameters that scholars have used over time. But the reality is this. None of these parameters are supported neither in Al-Quran nor in Hadith. It's just a way of interpreting. It's never mentioned in Al-Quran that if you travel, or Hadith that you travel for so kilometers. No. If some people are believing that way, it's wrong. And never is not mentioned anywhere, even the number of days that is popular, for 4 days, for 3 days, for 10 days. And that is why scholars differ in their interpretation. In this part of the world, where people mainly follow Maliki school, they will say 3 days, 4 nights, 4 days. But if you go to other parts of the world, like in India, in Pakistan, where they follow another school, Hanafi school, they will tell you 10-15 days. And that is why scholars have come to a conclusion that since we don't have any textual authority, let's go back to a yardstick, a benchmark that is known to Sharia. What is that yardstick? It's a principle in Sharia that anything that Allah has asked us to do and He did not give us timing, limitation, number, then what will determine that is the usage, the practice, and the custom of the people at all times. Meaning that what defines a journey is the usage and custom of people. When they see you or you see yourself as a traveler, then you can enjoy what a traveler can enjoy. If you yourself cannot judge yourself as a traveler, or people around you will never see you as a traveler, then you are not a traveler, you cannot benefit from that. So this is the most accurate parameter to be used. The number of kilometers, the number. Why this is inaccurate is that the number of parameters, the number of kilometers 100 years ago that amounted to a journey is no more, does no more amount to a journey today. The number of 80 kilometers, 60 kilometers when they travel on their feet, when they travel on the camel, when they travel on the horse, yes, it may amount to a journey. Today, some people almost every day drive, coming back to their places of work for this number of kilometers. So are you a traveler every day in your life? So that is why scholars will advise that none of these parameters could be relied upon today, but what we can use is what is the prevalent custom and usage that we can all judge ourselves. Like I have developed a parameter that I tell people to use, and I will tell you now. I said, look, it's a question you can ask yourself and answer. Any place you get into and nobody will ask you when are you going back, it means you are not a traveler. Let me repeat it. If you land in any place and people see you coming to mosque today, and they will never ask you, like, when are you when are you going back? It means they don't see you as a traveler. So this is what I developed on my own. You can develop a parameter. Parameter that was developed hundreds of years ago is where people have families. You may have your home in more than one place. You have a wife in Lagos, another one in Kaduna, the third one in Abuja. You are a resident in all. Your families are there. So please, this is what we should always pay attention to. It's not a number of kilometers, not even a number of days. But look around, you yourself interrogate it. Do I see myself as a traveler? Do people around me see me as somebody who is a traveler? One very clear point that I'm very sure of is that if you are going to live in a place for 10 months, it will be difficult to convince me that you are a traveler. If you have decided to go and live in a place for 10 months, it will be difficult to convince anybody, not only me, that you are a traveler. That's another parameter. So may Almighty Allah guide us all aright and continue to give us more knowledge and practice our deen to the best of our ability. And may He accept from us and forgive all our shortcomings. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.